This is Soph,
This is Rich
and we are from across the pond.
pond.
What's going down? I've missed you.
Oh, I always miss you. Sorry, I was just eating some Ritz crackers. I totally love them. I know I only have them at Christmas. I know it ain't Christmas, but I couldn't help myself. Sorry. Anyway, how was your week?
My week was very uneventful. I had got the booster shot this week. So the booster shot kind of got me down for a little bit, but I'm slowly coming back. And for you people who don't know, I am vaccinated and she is unvaccinated.
And I have never been down or felt ill or any of the above, but hey ho, we keep it 100.
We keep it 100. I am the guinea pig and she is.
Can I just ask you though, this is way off topic now, but there's a new booster every time there's a different variant. Will you continue to get boosters every time they say you need one for a different variant?
Well, there isn't a new booster for each variant. It was just a booster from the beginning.
Okay, but they're saying another booster or another one. Would you continue to get boosters if they said you needed them?
No, I won't. I'll be honest with you. No, I won't.
Okay, watch this space. Watch this space. So yeah, uneventful.
I think I've got enough vaccine in me for a lifetime. I'm not taking any more shots.
You look like a pincushion.
I've been a pincushion. If anybody who's been in the military know that we are pincushions.
Get in.
I got shots that nobody even heard of.
So your week was uneventful apart from the jab. My week.
Apart from the jab, yes.
My week's been super busy one. Alfie didn't go back to school till Wednesday, so the beginning of the week was still entertaining. We went to Play Train, which is a soft indoor play area.
My boy making it happen.
Right, we went to the shops. We saw my mom. And I'm going to be 10,000% honest as always. Dropped Alfie off to school at 8:30 on Wednesday morning. And I came home and slept for 2 hours after that.
Shame on you.
I was so tired. Like, I know he gets up early anyway, normally. But sometimes sleep deprivation catches up on you. And when it's the school holidays and he's home 24/7, this boy is at 100% energy 100% of the time. So, yeah, I needed some sleep. So I slept for 2 hours. And I don't even care if anyone's mad about it. But then after that, it's been work, social media work. We've obviously chopped it up a couple of times about the show. We've got stuff going on in the background. I've had 2 photo shoots on Friday.
Ka-ching, ka-ching.
Yeah. Do you know what? Does this happen to you? This happened to me this week. You know, when they say, in between Christmas and New Year, they say, oh, you lose what day of the week it was. That really did happen to me this week. I thought it was Sunday, like 3 days in a row. But it wasn't, obviously. And I don't feel like it will get back to normal until next week, because although Alfie was back to school on Wednesday, it wasn't a full week. So you can't really count it. So yeah, until next week, my head's not going to be aligned properly.
Awesome. That's all I can say is awesome. Way to go.
Anything going on in the
I did do a lot of binge watching, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we can't give any spoilers away because we've got to save it for series reviews.
But before I go any further, did you finish watching what we were watching?
I've still got one more left. But as soon as the show's over, I'm on it like a car bonnet. You just want to talk about it. And this is the annoying thing. I find that as well. Like when you go on holiday, say I went to Florida, right? Come back and be like, where'd you go on holiday? And I'm like, oh my God, Florida, have you been? And they're like, no. When you tell them about it, they're just a bit like, But when you talk to someone, oh my God, did you see this? Yes. Did you go there? Yes. It's a whole different vibe. So you're just waiting for me to watch it so we can be like, oh my God, what about this? What about that? What about him? What about her? Da-da-da-da. You want to chop it up?
Yes.
I get it 10,000%. And I definitely will watch it. I definitely will watch it tonight with my dinner. I've already decided. With my dinner. I'm so hungry, by the way. But yeah, with my dinner.
I wanted to tell you guys about this. It's so
No,
good.
that's where you're
We
wrong.
can't.
You wouldn't be able to tell him till that's going to be next week's series review. We can't discuss it unless it's on the books. It ain't in the books.
I know, but the one that we have on the books, I don't have any information for.
But you've watched it, right?
Right. But you haven't sent me the information.
I'll do that now. I mean, you could have said that off air, but hey, that's how we
keeps it 100.
Okay,
She's missed me and I've missed her.
We've missed the show because let's not get it twisted. It's not like we don't speak. Okay, so what's going on in the news where you are on that side of ATP?
All right, the big thing that went on the news was they had the anniversary of the insurrection. So they had a bunch of speeches for January 6th insurrection of last year, where President Trump and his cohorts sent a whole bunch of people to the Capitol and they bum rushed it.
Whoa there, bum rushed it.
Oh yeah, they tried to take the Capitol over. They tried to hang the vice president. It was chaos last year around January 6th. It was just pure chaos. It's going to go in the history books. My kids will probably hear about it. They're doing an investigation on the January 6th insurrection. So basically, President Biden threw shots at ex-President Trump without saying his name. And then Trump came back at him in his little speech. So it's just political beef. Political beef. That's what I'm saying. It's just political beef right now. Right now, a lot of people are complaining about the gas prices. We have this variant Omicron going crazy. It's spiking again. So everybody is wondering why we're not being shut down or anything like that. I don't really care.
Well, sorry, I just thought I'd sneak one in while I was listening to your story. I'm not going to lie. I've been so busy this week, I haven't really listened to the news, but I do listen to it on the school run backwards and forwards with Alfie. Usual Omicron. It's a ploy.
I'm so over it.
Right. I'm not saying it's not real or it's not out there, but now it's
jacking people up.
It's been said that actually it's not as bad as first of all, they were like, oh my God, Omicron variant, it's different, it's worse, blah, 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 blah. Now they're saying it's not as bad as the first variant because there have actually been no deaths, if you like, due to the Omicron variant. Who knows? You know my view. They're making it up as they go along. The only other story that stuck out was Novak Djokovic. Have you heard about him in the tennis?
Oh, yeah. I heard a little bit. I haven't heard too much.
Yeah, they didn't let it. I can't. Please don't come at me. And if Roy hears this, he used to play tennis. He's a big tennis fan. I don't know what competition it is, like that they were going
the Australian Open.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Thanks for having my back. He hasn't got the vaccine. They basically said he couldn't go. And he was like, well, I'm exempt. And they said, well, that's not good enough, or you haven't proved it enough, so you can't go.
And that's it.
That's that.
You either can't go or you can. It's one of the two things.
But they can't keep changing the rules. What do you mean? If someone presents their exemption to you and they say, actually, that's not good enough, it's ridiculous.
Well, what kind of exemption did he have?
Well,
was it something made up or?
That's what I mean. It couldn't have been. But anyway, anyone who knows the finer details of the story, feel free to comment or message us. Sorry, I'm only coming with half a story, but like I said, I've been very busy this week and news hasn't been on the... I'm not going to lie. I used to listen to the news once a day because it's good to keep up with what's occurring, right, across the board. it wasn't until COVID started I stopped watching the news, because that's all it was about. The only time I watched it during COVID was if Bojo made a speech, you know. So I would watch it to see what he's saying about lockdown. That is it. You know, I do believe still it's good to keep an eye on the news to see what's going on in and around the world.
Mm-hmm.
But 99.9% of the time, it's all doom and gloom, deaths, murder, you know.
Well, celebrity news, did you hear about Kanye West and his new girlfriend?
I thought he wanted Kim back. He made some public speech or something.
Yeah, well, he's got this new girl. She's pretty hot. She pretty much, to me, she's just like a white Kim Kardashian, to be honest.
Kim Kardashian is white.
Well, I don't know. Ain't she Italian? I thought
no,
she
she's
was Italian.
Albanian, whatever that is.
Well, whatever she is, he got a girl look just like her.
Well, that's to make a statement. That's all that is. Sometimes I screenshot things in the news, celebrity news that I see to talk about. And I did have something selected about a week ago to talk about Dr. Dre's divorce settlement, because he's been rinsed out of some money, boy. But
who?
Dr. Dre, like his divorce.
Oh, Dr. Dre, he settled. I'd have done the same thing. He got tons of money. He settled.
It says Dr. Dre finalizes divorce from Nicole Young after ugly £1 billion legal battle. And he
settled out of court.
He even threw himself a party. Look at them balloons. It says divorced AF. Divorced as savage. I mean, that's a whole heap of money.
Divorce is fudge.
Let me ask you this, actually. Totes again off point, but to do with what we're just talking about. Do you believe in prenuptials? You know, like celebrities who've got money. Do you think they should have prenups?
Yeah. I think prenups are for celebrities. I don't think they're for regular people. I think it's for people who...
How do you figure that out? Billionaires, they might need them. If they got a gold digger, want to marry him.
That's what I'm saying. It's for rich people. I only believe in prenups for rich people.
Not...
All right, celebrities, rich folk, they do all that prenup stuff. If you got a lot of money, like for instance, I think it's kind of dirty of Dr. Dre's wife to kind of go after all his money after she didn't watch him, make
But that's
it.
What some women are like.
I mean, she watched him make all this money,
I personally think you should...
Ain't that his first wife?
Yeah, they've been together for years. But I personally think you should leave with what you came with, right? If it's categorically evident as the woman, whoever's got the riches, if it's categorically evident that the other person helped build you up, well, 10%, but to say that somebody's got to give you 50% of everything just because you was married. Balderdash.
Bollocks.
Okay, so today is Fun Friday, the first Fun Friday of 2022.
First Fun Friday.
Yepper. And we have decided to talk about our loves in life, our passions.
Two of our favorite passions.
That have actually become jobs for us in one way or another, income streams. And that is poetry on your side of the pond and photography on my side of the pond. So let's start with you. You got poetry. You've been writing.
Ladies first.
Too late. I've already gone in. So you've been writing poetry since you were how old?
Since I was 13 years old.
Okay, so that's about 40. How many years? About 30 years. Why did you start writing poetry?
Well, actually, it was a school assignment.
Okay.
And then I just took a knack to it. And then I was in a poetry club.
Ooh, bougie.
Because I'm such a nerd. I was in a poetry club called Nate Gadsden's Writers Workshop. and I was kind of like the youngest person at the time. I don't know if he still does it or not, but I was kind of like the youngest person at the time. So I was just absorbing a lot of the older people's styles.
Yeah.
And then I just really got into it.
Well,
Really, really got
what
into it.
was it that drew you in?
I guess the fantasy of it all
But
and the wordplay.
but you say the fantasy, but your poetry is about real life, so that ain't fantasy.
What can you let me explain?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you very much. It started out as, a fantasy type thing, but then I really started dabbling deep into like poetry forms and styles and make it nonfiction, fiction, that type of thing. So it kind of went from fantasy to kind of like reflecting on how I feel, but in my way and format.
No.
So it kind of grew, it kind of evolved.
And when you first started, was it just like a hobby, like you just wrote it for yourself, you just wrote it in a book, or you always had the intention to write a book?
Well, see, to be honest, I like I said, it started out as a school assignment. And then my teacher was like, this was really good. And then I entered it into some poetry contests, so on and so forth. And then it went from that to just keeping it to myself. And then as I got older, I would just write and put it aside. Like it would kind of clear my mind. So I would write how I feel in poetry form, and then I would set it off to the side.
Can I just
So
say,
I initially,
sorry, you saying about writing it like and then putting it to the side so it's off your mind. I find sometimes that helps. Like if I've got something to say to somebody, my mum taught me obviously there's a time and a place, or I don't necessarily feel that I can say it to them. I always write it down, and it feels like then a load has been lifted off of your mind.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Like different stages and different points in my life, I would write and then I would put it aside. And then as I got older, I went into the military, got married, had kids, and then I still was writing, which was kind of fascinating for me because I was still writing at the time. With all this other stuff going on, I would write a couple pieces at a time and put it aside. I never really thought about putting it into a book form until later on in life. Like I had went to Iraq, and this is I went to Iraq. I printed everything out and I put it in a vanilla envelope because I felt as though the way the war was going and everything, I wasn't sure. Nobody knows if, when you go to war, nobody's expecting to
come home.
Anything could happen. So I put it aside for my children for, say, like if something were to happen to me, they would have a piece of me and they were like, yo, this is my dad's thoughts and feelings and so on and so forth. But fortunately, I made it back with all my fingers and toes. And then I was holding on to this vanilla envelope for so long. I felt like it was time for me to do something with it. And that's why it came out into book form.
Now, when you write about mainly your personal experiences, do you write about anything else? Because I know, like, say, from a photography point of view, artist point of view, I could be out on the street and see something and I'm just like, oh, that catches my eye. Does that ever happen to you, or is it just literally about actual experiences?
Kind of, sort of. Sometimes I think of ways to write if something touches my heart and I want to express it, or a theme or an idea or something of that nature, then I try to put it in poetry form, how I perceive it, how I see it.
Nice. Can I just say, I've got pins and needles in my foot. Oh my God, it's killing. They'll go in a minute, don't worry. Oof.
Quit sitting on your leg.
I haven't had pins and needles for ages. I always sit on my feet. It's really bad for the circulation. Okay, so far you've got 2 books out.
I got 2 books out so far. I got 2 more to go.
Okay, let's not rush it. 2 books out. The first one, we're taking detail. I want everybody to absorb it, know it, what we're talking about. I'm covering your back. We've got to cover the ish. What's the first one, please, sir?
The first one is Reflections, as you can see.
Okay, when you got that first hard copy in your hand, what did you think?
I was excited and I felt accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
I can put Arthur in front of my name.
Get in. Okay, so can you read us one poem from that book, please?
Sure. This one's called The Chair. Rocking back and forth. No, I said it wrong. You got me nervous.
I won't look at you.
Thought chair. Rocking back in my thought chair, eating an apple, wondering why it's me. Who's doing the wrong? Never been right. Be looked upon as if I don't have a say about plainly nothing. What did I do to deserve this? My heart trapped in a state of confusion, filled with love and hate. My mind says, Lord, is this the end? The gift of patience is more patience. But how long will this last? Thought chair.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Do you know what that situation was that you're writing about?
No.
That was going to be my other question. You have poems, obviously, that you write, put in the vanilla envelope or whatever, and then you read them to come and put them in a book, or you read them to see what they're doing. And is there many where you think, I don't even know what that was to do with?
No, some affect me differently than others. Some I write just to clear my head, and some are meaningful to me to where I get emotional. Mm-hmm. I have some that I can hardly read because they're emotional to me.
But what I mean is, do you get ones where you read it now and you have zero idea what the situation was or what you were writing it for?
Yeah, I have a lot of them like that. And some of them kind of take me by surprise because I just be like, I can't believe I wrote that. That is so good.
Well, actually, what normally happens is sometimes you read some, like last year before book 1 came out, and you read a couple to me and you were like, oh, that is so dope.
I know. Yeah, it's put together in such a good way that, I'm just like, I surprise myself.
So that was book 1, Reflections. Then you had book 2. What's that?
Now, book 2 is called Moments.
Look at that.
Yeah, Moments. And what I did was I went through a lot of the poems that I had, and you can attest to this. I think with the poems, I kind of separated them, and it kind of shows growth as the books kind of form. You kind of start seeing different parts, I would say.
Okay, so can you read one from that book, please?
Yes, ma'am. Hold on. Let me find a good one.
I'm still waiting for my copy to be sent across the pond.
Yeah. Forever mine. Thoughts of your beauty, your style still lingers in my mind. And what we shared is still there. Your scent, your perfume still fills the room. I'm thinking about when I was holding you and knowing that whatever you were, I was never too far. And now you're gone, like a flash of light. My mental picture of you is very vague. And I think to myself, could you or should you have been forever mine?
Do you know who you wrote that about?
Uh
I mean, we're not name dropping. I'm just asking, do you remember who it was about?
yeah, it was a really rough relationship.
Oh, and do you still speak to that person?
From time to time, yeah.
Do they know that you've written a poem about them?
Probably not.
Okay, so where did you get the titles from? Reflections, moments, what made you call them that?
Well, you know what? I went over a lot of when I start to read the poems over before I start typing them out, I read them all over. Like I read them, I already separated them. And what I do is before I type it out, I read it like it's an actual book. So I read it all. And then whatever comes to my heart, I haven't really figured out the title for the third one. So it comes to me. Whatever comes to me and it just sticks out. That's how I make my titles.
Mm-hmm. And do you still write poetry now?
I still write to this day. I still write. Mm-hmm.
So we can continue to see a flow of books from Richard Payne Sr.
God willing, yes. We'll keep putting them on the shelves.
Love it. Will you ever have any pictures in any of your books?
I've thought about having illustrations. I'm really not sure yet. There's actual poems that I have in the very first one that my niece, I had when I was in school. I had a gentleman who illustrated 3 poems that went together, and he illustrated them, and my niece still has them. So I thought that was really sweet that she still has them. But illustrations, I haven't yet thought about it. I kind of when you're reading poetry, it kind of builds an imagination formed for yourself. So I kind of like when you're reading it, illustrations kind of take away from the actual wordplay.
I hear
you. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so if you had to sum poetry up in one line, what would you say?
Thought-provoking.
Ooh, deep.
Thought-provoking.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Now, enough about me. All about you. What made you, her thing is photography, people who are just now coming in to listen. We just discussed my poetry, favorite pastime, art, passion. Now we're going to step into the realm of Miss Soph over here. Her passion is photography. So we want to know what got you into doing photography.
I've always loved taking pictures from as far back as I can remember. In fact, I found a packet like this of photos the other day. Look, with the old negatives.
Bruce.
Yeah, and it was actually, I was with my dad at the park. I don't know, I was probably about 7 or 8, and I had a net on a stick, and I would scoop out and then take pictures of the fish. You know, like, we had little crayfish. I mean, they're all blurry. They're all blurry. But I've always loved taking pictures. Before the smartphone came along, I would carry a camera around in my handbag, you know, like just so I could whip it out if I saw something I wanted to take a picture of, you know. So it always was a hobby. Yeah, I just love it.
Yeah. Well, what made you want to make it a profession?
Well, I had a cleaning business for like 8 years, and I was still doing photography like as my hobby stroke passion. And a couple of people kept saying to me, why don't you make money from it, make it a business? And and you're just like, you always doubt yourself. And I was just like, and then I just love it so much. And then one day something just snapped, and I was like, do you know what? I don't want to clean poo out of people's toilets anymore. So I decided to reduce the amount of customers I had cleaning, focus my energy on photography to get that up. And then when the photography got up enough, I could cut the cleaning off altogether.
What?
Basically, this is savage, but I did it so all the customers I didn't like, I told them, I would no longer be able to offer a service to them. And so I kept the customers on I did like while I carried on doing this. And then gradually, the ones that I actually liked, they one at a time, over a period of time, moved house out of the area. So they didn't actually need me anymore. So I didn't actually feel that bad. But by the time the last one had popped off the books, the photography was right up there. As I was building up my own business, I went for a year and a half and worked in the hospital taking pictures of newborn babies. And I just loved it, like absolutely loved it. Like within the first 24 hours, you obviously offer mums, do you want to have your pictures taken? Oh, it was just amazing. So that's when I knew if I had to choose anything, it would be newborn babies, families. That was my niche area to go down. Yeah. But then I soon realized photography is photography, right? If you love it, you will take pictures of anything. Like I had a period of time where I was the photographer for a taekwondo team in the town. I know the guy who runs it, and he just said to me, look, would you be able to come and take a picture at our tournament, or pictures at our tournament? I was like, no problem. I said no problem because he was my friend,
Yeah.
Do I want to be a sports photographer? No, but I love photography, so I'll take a picture of it. And then after that, he was like, oh my God, can you do our photography like for the club? I was like, yeah, sure. Like I said, it wasn't my niche, or it wasn't something that I wanted to get into the field of, but I was still taking photography, so I would do it. Like, I mean, I've taken pictures of I like landscapes. I've done product photography, jewelry. I've done product photography for a diamond company. Let me see if I can show you my favorite picture from that.
Because I was getting ready to ask. I was just getting ready to ask.
Yeah.
What is your favorite picture that motivated you, like catapulted you into saying, you know what, I want to do this for real, for real?
I honestly don't know if there's one picture. What you mean that I've took? I don't know. Can I just say this was I love this picture. I put a diamond ring inside a rose. I know it's not really great.
Yeah, but pull it back just a little bit. There you go. Perfect. Well, now I put it, you kind of.
Yeah, it doesn't really work. It's not really, but you get the gist. There's a rose there inside.
Yeah, right there. Leave it right there. Perfect.
That was one of I loved that picture from the shot. And this guy's jewelry is amazing. He used to live in the same village as me. His name's Tom Reed, and he owns Lovers Rock Diamonds. Love the name. Great guy. Love his stuff. I've taken pictures of, so I used to go to a cardio class, and they wanted to do a charity calendar for cancer. So I took pictures of naked men. I took pictures of naked men, and we did a naked calendar. I've had people come to me and say, look, it's Valentine's Day on my wedding anniversary. Can you take some pictures? That's the present I want to give my wife. So I did naked pictures of somebody then. I've done food photography. I had a shoot. This actually is a picture. This picture, she's actually a dominatrix, and she asked me to do some pictures for our website. So, you know.
All right, so what is your favorite pictures to take besides babies? Because we already know you love
Yeah,
babies.
babies is up there.
What do you prefer to take pictures of?
It's really difficult to say. Like, I like landscapes because they change all the time. Do you know what I mean? With the weather, with the the natural elements, it changes constantly all the time. Let me see if I can show you this, for example. Like this was outside. Oh, it's really bad that this is so shitty. That was a sunrise outside my house the other day, but literally in a split second it's gone, which is the reason I love photography, because when you click the button you can never get back what happens in that split second. Other than babies, I think I just love taking pictures of people in general. I like landscapes, but I like taking pictures of people in general. And I prefer natural, like I can't stand all these staged setups. Like you must have seen newborn baby shoots where they're literally sleeping like this.
Yeah.
I don't like all that post stage stuff. And I'm going to give you a backstage nugget of information that's actually two pictures photoshopped together. If you look at the beginning picture, somebody's holding the baby's head like that so that it doesn't lose balance, and then in the other one they're holding the baby's elbows together so that it balance, and then they photoshop the two pictures together.
For real? Because I've seen well, they might not show the whole situation.
I'm telling you, inside scoop. And I don't like that. It's still a bit like weddings, where they arrange everybody.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying don't do a couple of those, but I like natural ones. Like when everyone's mingling, having a drink, click, 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 click. You'll get grandma going, because she didn't know you was taking the picture. She's just enjoying the moment. That's what you got to capture. People enjoying the moment while they're in the moment.
Mm-hmm. So what inspires you when you're taking your pictures? What inspires you to keep going?
What inspires me to keep taking pictures?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, just freezing moments in time. When you click the button, you can't ever get back what happens in that split second. You can try and recreate. Like if I took a picture of you and you were like, oh no, I don't like that one, can we do it again? And you still went. Both pictures, there would be differences in both pictures. You would never ever get exactly the same. So the fact that you can capture a split second of time in a moment that you can keep for a lifetime, that's what I like. And it could be about anything: a sky, a person, a dog. Now they do say never work with animals or children, which I choose to do both. And people say to me, what are you so tired for? All you got to do is click a button. I swear to God, some photo sessions are like an absolute workout. For example, cake smash earlier today. So you do the decorations, take a few pictures of the baby. Cake smash, for anybody that doesn't know, is when the baby's one, is to celebrate the milestone birthday. So you basically capture it. They have a cake and they can demolish it, eat it, make mess, whatever you want, and you photograph it. That's why it's called a cake smash. Was from your side of the pond that started. It only came over here, I'd probably say about 5-6 years ago. So yeah, you take a picture. I'm telling you, as soon as the cake's out, baby starts eating, like eating, mess goes everywhere. But as soon as that baby starts to have enough or something else catches its eye, it's off, covered in cake, crawling or walking everywhere. And you're like, no, you need to go back. So you put the baby back, might get another couple of shots. It's off again. It's there, it's here, And it's the same. Okay. It's the same with a dog. Trying to get a dog to sit still long enough. You've got a dog.
He's right here.
Don't do what they're told 9 times out of 10. But I love it.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. How many for that cake smashing? photo shoot, how many photos do you take? Does one photo shoot take? How many photos?
Between 150 and 200, somewhere around there.
Wow. And then when you produce them all, how many does that actually calculate? Like, say, like, if
You'd
you were to
probably get about 70 usable ones out of there, because you've got to remember there's going to be some where the baby's got their eyes closed, somewhere they've gone like that with the hand, so the hand is blurry, you can't use that. Then I always try to take multiple pictures of the same thing, so that if the eyes are gone in one or whatever, then you've got another one that don't look the same but similar.
So how many would the customer get? Like, say, like, if you took pictures for that big cake smash, how many photos would the actual
Depends what the customer's paid for. You can have a package where you get all of the pictures, i.e. the 70 that are edited, on a USB stick, or you can get a certain number on a USB stick, or you can get them printed out, or you can get them printed on canvas, whatever the customer wants, different price.
Oh, okay.
For different things.
Because I was saying, like, I was figuring you take 170, and then out of that 170, you got 70. And then from that 70, the customer might just get 10 of them.
Well, that's if they pay for 10, then yeah, they pick 10. But I mean, I've had hundreds of pictures of Alfie, not taken by me, but taken by other professionals when he was a baby. It is so difficult to narrow it down. If you've got, let's just say you've got 70 pictures that are all amazing and you love them all, how do you narrow it down to 10?
True. I mean, that's just my thought process.
The other thing I really absolutely love is when I get this, and that's when customers send me photos of my photos on their wall. Like, yeah. I totes love that. I'm like, oh my God, I took that. Do you know the best one I've had, actually? I did a newborn shoot. They had a little girl, and I went to their, I went to their house to do it, because you can either go to their house, or if they feel like, some people don't feel comfortable taking their baby out so early, whatever. So I went to their house and done it. I'd say about 3 months later, it was Father's Day. Ping, ping, my phone goes off, says, oh, you got a text. When I opened it, this woman had got a picture of the dad, like the dad and the baby touching noses. She'd got it put on cufflinks for him as a present for Father's Day. Oh. And I was like, oh God, like that's what I love. Like, it's the gift that keeps on giving. That's what I say.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
I know, right?
That sounds absolutely wonderful.
Imagine that, rocking around with your little baby on your cufflinks.
And that was the dad's daughter?
Yeah.
Or the grandbaby? Or was that his child? It was the
dad's daughter. It was Father's Day. So the mum from the shoot got a picture of the dad and the baby and put it on the cufflinks to give to the dad from the baby for Father's Day.
Oh, now that's beautiful. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you're sharing your experiences with photography.
Do you know what I've got to say? There's 2 things on my bucket list. I'd love to photograph a celebrity, right? And I'm not, if it's a Z list, at least
paparazzi?
Paparazzi no, a photo shoot, like an actual photo shoot, say for a magazine or just for their own personal benefit. Like, hey, for my own personal benefit, depends who the celebrity is. Do you know what I mean? I would just love to photograph a celebrity. I'd also really love to photograph a birth.
Ew. You talking about like an actual birth?
Yeah.
Like, like right down in the...
At the business end, yeah. I
don't know if anybody would want to have pictures.
Loads of people do it. Honestly, afterwards, really? Google it. Loads of people have it done.
I got chills just thinking about it, because I watched both my kids be born, and I would never want to see pictures of it.
It's such a beautiful thing. I mean, I've never heard of anyone getting it done and putting the pictures on their wall, but people do get it done. Birth is such a beautiful, natural thing. And the thing, like some of the pictures you see, the doctors literally just lifted the baby out, and the baby's like, And I'm like, oh my God, that would be amazing. I'd probably be like, excuse me, ma'am, why are all our photos blurry? I'm so sorry, I was crying at the birth of your child. But that's on my bucket list. The other thing I'd love to do is, I don't know if you've got it there, it's a program here on Sky Arts called Master of Photography.
Mm-hmm.
And basically 8 photographers, it's like one of these reality TV shows. 8 photographers get different challenges each week until each week they're eliminated, and then the winner gets a prize, get their photos put here, there and everywhere, you know, gets money, new equipment, whatever. I would love to do that. Only thing is, it's for 8 weeks and it's in Italy, so I'd obviously have to leave Alfie. You don't see your family until always the final week is the 2 finalists go back to their hometown and they photograph. They basically, each assignment, you either get 1, 3 or 5 photos. So let's just say it's the week they go to their hometown, they have to take 5 photos that represents their life, you know. And that's the first time they're allowed to see their family in that 8 weeks. And I'm like, oh, I couldn't be without Alfie for 8 weeks. So, yeah. But I'd love to go.
So, what would you like, for instance, your photography, where would you like it to be within the next, I say 5 or 10 years?
In a photo gallery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was in 2 magazines, just mic drop here. I had my photography published in 2 magazines last year. So I'm aiming for 3 magazines this year. And I have already contacted a photo gallery and they've asked me to send a
portfolio.
Yeah. I just can't decide what subject, because normally when you go to a gallery, it's all about, like, let's say my exhibit would be all on the same subject. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I know what subject I'm going to go with. I just want to get a couple more pictures to make it the best it can be. Yeah.
Just like me, I would love for, my books are on Amazon right now, online. Mm-hmm. I would love to see my book in a bookstore. Barnes or Nobles or any bookstore. I would love, that's my goal.
When you do that, would you feel like then I've made it?
Well, I already feel like I've made it.
Okay.
Because I have author in the front of my name, but I think it would be an extra accomplishment to add to I want to call my legacy, because I want to be able to, you know, pass it on to my children. They can go in the stores and be like, yo, this is my dad's book. You know what I mean? Or family members be like, yo, this is my brother or my son's book. In the stores, people can actually purchase it if they're into poetry, you know. So that's one of my main goals. Is, you know, the one thing I
find about that I do find bizarre on one hand, I try and understand it, but with photography, I personally find that people are the closest to me, like family and close friends. They go somewhere else to get their photos done. They wouldn't come to me. And I don't know if that's because they're thinking, you know, like if somebody does something and you don't like it, you don't want to feel bad by saying something. I don't know if that's the reason. But yeah, I find that bizarre, because for me, I like to try and support people. Do you know what I mean? Who I know, who I love. But yeah, out of my family, I've only had 2 of my cousins. I've done their baby photos. And that's it. And do you know what? When they get married or they have babies, I'm always like, oh, let me know if you want any pictures. Okay. Nothing happens, and then you go on Facebook and they've had them done by somebody else, and I'm like, okay.
I don't know if it's a thing where they want to be supportive, but yet they want it free. And you know, nobody goes into the business of doing anything for free.
Who knows?
You know, especially if you're passionate about it.
Who knows? But bizarre.
But this is a beautiful.
I'm taking pictures up to my last breath. They'll be putting me. I'll have tubes like this, and I'll be saying, "Hold on, look at that nurse. We're gonna flatline." No. Literally.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be writing until I can't write no more. And if, Lord willing, I could publish them all, that would be awesome.
Talking
As
talking about books, like I know that you can buy books that are literally just pictures, like photography books.
right.
But then I think to myself, well, would anybody want to buy that if I did it? Like, because it's like a photo album, and once you've looked at it, it just ends up on the shelf.
True. Or
Or
it becomes
80,
a or it becomes a or it becomes a table read.
yeah, or a coaster for your cup when you haven't got none. Well, I'll look into it. Maybe I might do that. Can I just say that was the first ATP yawn of 2022, I think.
I know, right? It wasn't that bad though. It wasn't
No.
that bad.
Well, thanks for chopping it up with me about our passion, stroke income, stroke job, stroke
Yes. Our future
loves,
endeavors.
our loves.
Our future
And you know
endeavors.
what I'm going to call this episode? Poetry in motion. You with the poetry, I'm capturing the motion.
Oh, look at you. That's what I like. We keeps it 100, people.
Okay, last episode, I off air, I just sent you something. Well, I didn't just send it. I sent it to you at the beginning of the show when you asked me
Okay, yes.
for our next segment.
Our next segment is series.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Now, I'm not going to lie. This series has only got 4 episodes, so there's no reason why you can't binge it if you want to.
Yes.
It was a BBC drama that is available if you've got a Fire Stick or you've got access to BBC iPlayer. And it is called You Don't Know Me. Can you give us a little bit about what it's about, Rich?
Yes, it's a young man from South London in the dock of the what? A young man from South London is in the dock for murder. The evidence against him is overwhelming, but rather than let one of the baristas decide what is in his best interests, he chooses to exercise his right to tell his own story. In his own words, his story is extraordinary. It's about a woman he loves who got herself into dangerous trouble. It's about how he risked everything to save her. He swears he's innocent, but in the end, the only thing that matters is if you believe his story or not. Ooh.
Burning question is, did you believe his story?
The story was so good, it was hard not to believe it.
I'm not going to lie. I was literally willing him. We try not to give anything away, but I was literally willing him to get, like, listening to his story. You're invested in him, and he's obviously done a couple of wrongs. I was willing him to get off. The only spoiler I'm going to tell you is I'm not even going to tell you.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to give up the spoiler, but the way he explained everything, it was kind of hard for him to get off. And I don't want to spoil it either. I would love for people to watch it and give us their own feedback. But to be honest with you, just me being biased, he was going to be found guilty either way.
I don't know,
That's just me.
Not,
I mean,
excuse
the story.
Excuse the pun. Jury's still out on that one for me.
Yeah,
but it was really good. Really good. I totally was invested 100%. So, burning question. What are you, Rich, going to give it out of 5?
I'm going to give it a straight 5 because it was so good from start to finish. It had me like captivated. I was like, I didn't want to use the bathroom. I wanted to watch it all. I didn't want to miss anything.
Get in. And to be fair, I think I paused it a couple of times and I found myself running back, like, come on, quickly, let's see what happens. I'm going to give it a straight up 5 out of 5. I think that there needs to be more dramas like this, drama series is.
And it was totally different. I hate to cut you off. It was totally different to what a normal crime drama
Right, this is what I'm saying. They need to have more drama series like this on the telly, on Netflix, on Amazon, wherever they want to punch it out. They don't. These sort of series come around like once every 5 years or something. You know, they need to get with the program and literally do more, because I loved it. So, You Don't Know Me, a BBC drama, 4 episodes, gets a big
know me.
fat 10 out of 10. Get amongst it and watch it.
Yupper.
Right, before we go, can I just say, I'd like to know, or I'd really love feedback if anyone noticed the change for 2022 in the end of our show last week. The first show of the new year, one of the first changes that we have introduced, the ending was slightly different. And don't think to yourself, cool, I don't know if I want to look at that every week. It's actually, we're going to change it up. It's going to be different every week.
Look at that.
But we would love people's feedback about what you thought. Was it better? You know, what did you think? Give us your ideas. We'd love to hear them.
Yes.
Second thing is, before we go, we have actually got our first giveaway running on socials at the moment.
Yes, it is.
Let me see.
How many of us in a jar?
Let me see if I can show you. We know that the light reflection is not that great, but there is a number of Rich and Sophs in a jar. All you need to do is tell us how many are there. It's on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
Get amongst it, because there's some good stuff to be had at the end.
Get amongst it. How many Richards and Sophs are in a jar?
Right. We thought we'd change it up instead of keep saying caption this, because that's what we normally do. Caption this. And then whoever's got the best one, we make the winner. If somebody gets it right, obviously they win. If there are 2 people that get the same answer, then we'll just randomly pick one. And if nobody gets the right answer, we'll pick the person who's closest.
Sounds like a plan.
Right?
Well, that being said, this is Soph.
This is Rich.
And we are from across the pond.
Rich, I'm going to see you. Oh, we'll see everybody on Sunday. The first serious Sunday of 2022. Yepper.
Yupper.
Hey, hey, now holla at me if you're ready to go. Hey, across the pond with Rich and Soph. Alright, now holla at me if you're ready to go. Hey, across the pond with Rich and Soph. Alright, now holla at me if you're ready to go. Hey.